When the holidays start to feel a bit repetitive, reach for a Sprite Winter Spiced Cranberry and put your twist on tradition. A bold cranberry and winter spice flavor fusion, Sprite Winter Spiced Cranberry is a refreshing way to shake things up this sipping season. And only for a limited time. Sprite. Obey your thirst.
Every who down in Who Newville liked the holidays a ton. But where to get great prices on gifts, they had no idea. None. They searched and they searched for great gifts under $25. Gifts for spouses and friends and even their toddlers. When suddenly one who shouted, Walmart has what you want, knowing they have Lego, Tree Hut, and low prices to flaunt. So they enjoy the holiday season as Who's often do. Cheering and shouting, Walmart has incredible gifts. Who knew? Find gifts they'll love under $25 at Walmart.
Here's my 30-second story with Guinness. As soon as my sister and I get home for the holidays, we don't even unpack. We head straight to our pub. The bartender already knows our order, Guinness and fries. We laugh all night, catch up with old friends, and walk home with faces sore from smiling. It's one of my favorite nights of the year. That was my 30-second story with Guinness.
Guinness Draft Stout. Please enjoy responsibly. Imported by Diageo Beer Company, USA, New York, New York.
I had that dream again. My small business needs to hire, but I don't use LinkedIn, and I hire an energy vampire. But also they're a literal vampire. And suddenly my team is spending all their time sharpening wooden stakes and buying bulk silver and rehearsing ancient chants, and then I wake up.
Don't let hiring nightmares ruin your dreams. LinkedIn Jobs' new AI assistant takes insights from over 1 billion professionals to create a short list of the best fits for you. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/quality. Start hiring today with LinkedIn.
Welcome back, Tiger fans, to Rock'em Radio's football podcast. I'm Nate Edwards. That's Nathan Hurst. This is Before the Box Score. Welcome to Bowl Week. Also, welcome to Bragging Rights Week, because we're going to record during the game. So don't tell Hurst what's going on, because he doesn't want to know. He wants to start at the beginning with no previous knowledge. He wants to watch it pure as the waters of Lake Minnetonka. Nathan Hurst, how are you feeling today?
I mean, despite fighting a cold, as I'm sure everyone can hear based on my voice, doing all right. I don't think there's much worry about people telling me the score, because I will have watched it by the time this podcast comes out. So I hope, anyway, unless God forbid, my power goes out at some point when I'm halfway through. But
Levi
I should probably
is a magic wizard. He can do things that I can't comprehend. So who knows?
I didn't realize that we would be recording in the middle of that game, but it beats recording on Christmas Eve. So here we are.
Here we are. We're talking about what's going on in Missouri football. The last game of the year, of the season and of the year for Missouri is happening this week as Missouri goes up against Virginia. But, we've got other things to talk about before then, because, of course, we record a show and then big news happens the day after. So you were listening to our show like, hey, why don't you talk about Beau Pribula transferring? Well, because we're recording on Wednesdays, and all news regarding Missouri football must happen on Thursdays, and we're never going to learn our lesson. So there you have it. Beau Pribula hit the transfer portal. Mixed feelings on this one. I kind of feel like there's a camp that expected this, and there's a camp that's really upset about this. What are we going to remember the Beau Pribula era being for in Missouri history here?
I think kind of just as a bridge to the next phase of Mizzou football, which I think this whole year was kind of supposed to be a bridge year anyway. And so I think he was a bridge quarterback from the Brady Cook era to hopefully the Matt Zollers era, or whoever is next era, the TBD era. But I think that's how, he wasn't a disaster. He wasn't an all-star. He got a job done, got this team several wins, and, we'll move on with his career. Best of luck to him. I'm not devastated that he's left. I'm also not jumping for joy that he left. I mean, I think I would have been fine if he came back, because I feel like there would have been a competition in the spring and summer for the starting job. Even if he did come back, it wasn't like he was going to be guaranteed that job going into next year anyway. So I'm sure that played a big role in him leaving, on top of perhaps wanting to go home, or perhaps going and meeting up with an old coach that had once coached him in a different location. Hard to say. We'll see where he lands, but not surprising, but also not something that I'm super excited about either.
You like to have experienced pieces. You like to have guys who've been in the system for multiple years, especially at the quarterback position. Obviously, we were getting a hard reset at the coordinator position. I don't know how much that was going to change the offense or anything like that. Typically, it's easier to teach one millionaire a different set of verbiage than teach, 180,000 heirs a bunch of different verbiage. So I don't think it would have changed all that much. So it would have been nice to have him there. But what was that game where he broke the record for consecutive completions? Was that against UMass? I think is what it was.
Yes, that sounds right.
Because then he spiked the ball, and then it was like, well, that's technically a pass, but then they didn't count. I don't know, whatever. So I mean, he whipped nuts against bad defenses. I mean, he had the fumble against Kansas, but otherwise, he was great.
Well, earlier in the year, I wouldn't classify his performance against Arkansas, a bad defense, as whipping nuts. But pre-injury, we'll give him that pre-ankle injury.
Yeah,
he was good against bad teams and struggled against good teams.
Yeah, which is a very normal college thing to do, but it didn't set him apart. I was racking my brain, like what was his Beau Pribula moment? What was the moment that you put on the poster? And really, and this is going to sound really bad, the moment that flashes in my head is his fumble against Kansas that was returned for a touchdown. It is like seared in my brain. He has run for several touchdowns. He's thrown some great touchdowns, but like, I don't know. Maybe I'm a hater, but like that's the moment that's in my. What do you see when you think Beau Pribula?
I mean, it's two plays and one good, one bad, both against Alabama. The first being his juke out of the shoes of the Alabama linebacker
against Bray Hubbard,
for a touchdown, which tied the game early in the third quarter.
Yeah,
that's on the positive side. On the negative side was his interception to seal the game at the end. Mm-hmm. Marquise Johnson running wide open down the sideline. He chose to throw up the seam instead and overthrew the receiver, and it was a pick, and the game's over. So those two things together will probably be what I most. And then his kind of horrific injury, which
also that
thankfully he recovered quickly from, but just seeing it live, hearing about what it was, just sounded terrible. And so those are probably the three things that I'll remember most about his era.
Yeah. Yeah. He had several running touchdowns, which were very good. Like, I'm not trying to secretly say he stinks. I mean, that run against Arkansas on the first drive was excellent,
and that's what we knew we were getting when he signed on, was we knew we were going to get a guy that could run and make plays with his feet. And he did that throughout the year. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to, and not at solely his fault, but wasn't able to elevate the offense with his arm.
No.
Even despite having an elite running game, which you would think would make it easier to pass well, and it turned out to be not the case. And so when defenses were able to stop that run game, that's why Mizzou lost 4 games.
Yeah. We did not know what he was like as a passer. We just did not know what that was, and we really didn't know how his game was going to translate to the SEC. And against the non-con, it was great, and against the SEC, it was hit and miss. But yeah, the throwing the ball was not in his strong suit, and he was not given. He didn't get room to demonstrate whatever his abilities were with that. His receivers didn't do him any favors. The line didn't do him a lot of favors. The coordinator didn't do him a lot of favors. So yeah, you could point a lot of fingers at the passing game. But yeah, for a guy, especially in the NIL portal era, like your coordinator's gone and you had an okay year. You've been home. You've been away from home. You got a new staff at your old school. Yeah, why not, man? Like, someone's going to pay you more. Go do it. I think the staff has always wanted Matt Zollers to be the guy, even though he came third technically in the quarterback race this year. I think they've always wanted him to be the guy, and he got some starts this year. He's going to get his start against Virginia this week, and I think they just it's the Rafiki. It is time in the NIL portal era. Well, after 1 year of not playing, yeah, it is time now for you to go play. So I think that's kind of where the staff is sitting with this one.
Yeah, and we'll see him go play against Virginia. To see Zollers play against Virginia, and it'll be great. I don't know if it'll decide anything about what their path is in the portal. No matter how he plays, if he lights it up for 400 yards or goes 10 for 30 for 100 yards, God forbid. But I don't think that's going to determine what direction they go either.
I mean, this is like the fourth best pass defense that Missouri has gone up against this year, and he's doing it without two key receivers. And he wasn't great with them.
Well, 3 if you add Norfleet on there as well.
Well, there you go. Add Norfleet to it. Sure, let's make this worse. Yeah. So it's not. I don't see this as a test. It's just an extended, audition. Give him some more reps against a team that does not like him and wants him to be bad. Get him some reps under those circumstances where the win doesn't particularly matter one way or the other. Against a good team, too. Virginia was 1 win away from being in the playoff, regardless of how you view them from a quality standpoint. That is true. If they had beaten Duke, they would have been in the playoff. And a lot of other things would have been different, too, but that's neither here nor there. So this is a quality opponent to go up against. I don't think he's going to do well. I don't think it means anything, but I don't think he's going to do well. Really, the question is, how many carries does Ahmad Hardy get? And is he going to break either A, the Cody Schrader official record, or B, the Devin West unofficial record? I mean, that's why I'm tuning in. What are you looking for in this?
Yeah, well, first and foremost, I'm looking to see if Mizzou will win because I like when Mizzou wins football games. I like when seasons end with wins. I like when there are trophies that are attached to those wins. So, Mizzou playing a football game means I'm going to watch. And then the fact that they can end the season on 9 wins, meaning they will have won 30 in 3 years. That's enough reason for me.
Yeah. Any particular matchup you'd like to see in this game, or just soak it all in?
Not particularly. I mean, they do. So Virginia does have a great running back, Jamari Taylor. Is it? It's Jamari. Yeah, that's how you pronounce it. He's really talented. His numbers okay, 1,062 yards. I think he missed a couple of games with an injury, but very talented. Really seeing, and we don't know yet. This is December 22nd. We don't know yet who is or is not playing on the defensive side of the ball, on the defensive line specifically. We know that Josiah Trotter, is not playing. But I'm kind of I'm interested to see how does the Mizzou defense shut down their run game, because I think that if Mizzou can run and stop Virginia from running, I think Mizzou will win this game. But if they can't run and or Virginia can run the ball, then I think it's going to get a lot more interesting.
The holidays mean more travel, more shopping, more time online, and more personal info in more places that could expose you more to identity theft. But LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second. If your identity is stolen, our US-based restoration specialists will fix it guaranteed or your money back. Don't face drained accounts, fraudulent loans, or financial losses alone. Get more holiday fun and less holiday worry with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year. Visit LifeLock.com/podcast. Terms apply.
The Subaru Share the Love event is on from November 20th to January 2nd. During this event, Subaru donates to charities like the ASPCA, helping support more than 142,000 animals so far. When you purchase or lease a new vehicle during the 2025 Subaru Share the Love event, Subaru and its retailers will make a minimum $300 donation to charity. Visit Subaru.com/share to learn more.
'Tis the season to cozy up with all your favorite holiday movies and shows.
You coming?
Where?
To the North Pole, of course!
Like A Very Jonas Christmas Movie and Home Alone on Disney+.
Should I burn down the joint? I don't think so.
Then snuggle up with The Polar Express and National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation with Hulu on Disney+.
I think we're all in for a very big Christmas treat.
This season, there's something for everyone with Hulu on Disney+. Bundle subscription required. Terms apply. Visit disneyplus.com/Hulu for details.
Deck your home with Blinds.com. DIY or let us install. Free design consultation.
Free.
samples and free shipping.
Head to Blinds.com now for up to 45% off with minimum purchase plus a free professional measure. Rules and restrictions may apply.
No. Virginia, I want to say, I almost said sneaky good. I mean, if you're a Missouri fan and you're an SEC purist, you probably view any conference that's not the SEC or the Big Ten as just outright garbage, you know? And that's not the case. I mean, Virginia is a good team. I know that pointing to their ACC championship game appearance doesn't mean anything. But yeah, it is a good team. And yes, I talked about them getting away with it. Their multiple one-score games that they won. Their multiple overtime games that they've won. They play similar to Missouri. You know, so I think both offenses should be given space to operate the way they want to. This is not going to be a styles, make fights kind of clash. But yeah, the Virginia offense, they're a better running team than they are a passing team, but they don't run it as much because they're very much like a pass it to set up the run. They do a lot of just kind of motion and RPOs. Oh, RPOs. Interesting. I didn't know you could do that. So they run it like about 56% of the time on standard down situations and then only 33% of the time in passing down. So it's like, okay, if it's 1st and 10, 2nd and 7, 3rd and 5, we're going to run the ball like half the time. If it's anything bigger than that, they're probably going to pass it. So it's very simplistic in how they do things, but it works. And to your point, Jamari Taylor, very good. Chandler Morris is a good passer. The wild thing about this offense is that they're all playing in their last game. All 11 starters on offense are playing in their last game because they're either 6th-year graduate students or graduating seniors. So none of them are sitting out because they're good enough to stick around for that long, but they're not good enough to be like first-round draft picks. And that's something. That's impressive right there.
Yeah, and they're clearly an experienced team. What they aren't experienced in is actually playing in bowl games because this is the first bowl game that Virginia's made in a decade for all I know.
Like 5 years.
It's
Bronco
been a while.
Mendenhall got him to.
Oh, true. Okay, so he did have a couple decent seasons. Certainly not a 10-win season like they enjoyed this year. But they are an experienced group, and it's not like the Gator Bowl is some high stakes pressure cooker. So not having experience in a bowl game probably won't hurt them too much. Other than the whole bowl experience of going several days early and marching in a parade and pep rallies and all that stuff. That just will be a different experience for them. I don't think it's something that's going to affect how they perform on the field. But yeah, they're a good offense. They're not an elite offense. They don't have anybody where you look at, they're like, oh man, this guy is scary. This is a freak. This guy's going to, we got to triple team this guy or if he's going to take the game over. They don't have anybody like that, but they are solid. And if you don't do your job on defense, then they're going to find ways to hurt you. They can run the ball pretty well. They can throw the ball pretty well. So they're balanced. They don't do one thing amazing, but they also don't do anything poorly either. They don't turn the ball over especially much. They don't, but they, it's not like they're a huge explosive play offense either. So it's just kind of like, they're going to score enough points to win most of the time against ACC teams. Mizzou's just got to keep them from scoring as much as they do. That's pretty simple when you break it down.
It is wild. Their offensive line is a little problematic in the whole blocking people thing. The one thing that they're supposed to be good at. And that's a little facetious. Like, there's a good offensive line, but they give up a lot of pressures. And Chandler Morris takes a lot of sacks. And in particular, Virginia's right tackle, his name is Jack Whitmer. He's given up pressures like at 10% rate. Like his blown block rate's like over 6% or something like that. It is not good. He is a very obvious flashing red light, weak link in the offensive line chain. And it's a shame that, I don't know what they're going to do with Zion Yon. The fact that we have to question whether he's going to play or not because he was a dummy and did what he did in a motor vehicle under the influence. He really could have feasted here. So maybe it's Damon Wilson. Maybe it's Darius Smith. They get to have a field day with this Jack Whitmer guy because he is a liability when it comes to pass protection. So target that dude. Otherwise, they're pretty. Yeah, they're good. They're good. Anyone can really beat you. No one is a threat. But Chandler Morris has been around for 6 years. Like you're not going to throw something at him that he hasn't seen before. But also, he doesn't have like the otherworldly NFL talent to make you pay for a lot of your mistakes. So really, I think it just kind of comes down to the, they say Jimmy's versus Joe's, and X's and O's. It's the dudes, right? Josiah Trotter's definitely not going to play. Maybe Zion Young doesn't play. Okay, so they have their full complement, and Mizzou doesn't. Maybe that's enough. I don't know.
It's hard to say, and we still don't know, and we haven't heard back from like Damon Wilson. I think he's still waiting to hear on his draft grade, and that will determine whether or not he plays.
At this point, if they hadn't heard, they're already there. You should probably just play.
They probably don't. They're probably not going to give it to him on Christmas Day.
No.
So, they maybe today, maybe tomorrow, maybe the 26th. But if he finds out on the 26th that he's got a first round draft grade, he's there. He's hyped up. He's practiced all week.
Yeah.
Hard to say what he would do. If he opts out, no skin off my back. I mean, that's probably a smart decision for him. But I hope he plays because we need him and he will help us win.
I would prefer to see him play football.
Yeah. One more time, because I think it'll be, if he does play, it will be the last time.
I think so. There's kind of been a hubbub of like he might be coming back, which cool.
That would be great.
I hope he goes, because that means he's highly picked, highly rated, and could be a first round draft pick or something. Like I hope that's the case. But
if he's going to be a first round draft pick, I do hope he goes for sure. Yeah. If he's not going to be a first round draft pick, come back, be a first round draft pick next year.
Yeah, if you want, whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see. There's not a whole lot of prestige around the Gator Bowl, but yeah, get the 9th win, get the 30th win, send some of these guys out in style. Like, this has been a great defense. I'd love to see them, take the field one more time. Ahmad Hardy's obviously been not a revelation, because we all knew he was going to be great. But really, you want to see him do that, and he's coming back next year because he made a whole announcement about it, which is cool. So yeah, it's there are things to watch. It might not be the playoff, but it's football on your TV. It's your team. It's Saturday. Okay, you're not having to pretend to work while you're watching it, so that'll be nice. So yeah, I mean, it's gonna be good.
I mean, yeah, as bowl slots go, if it's not going to be a playoff bowl, a Saturday prime time after Christmas, about as good a slot as you're going to hope for. Gator Bowl really is the after the tier of playoff bowl, those 6 bowls that take part of the playoff, it's really right there, in that second tier. And historically, before the pre-playoff days, it was right up there, in that second tier. A New Year's Day game, it would always be on in the morning, kind of simultaneous with the Outback Bowl and the Citrus Bowl, right? So it's really the same prestige level as those historically. Now, if you're not in the playoff anymore, bowl games, don't really, the prestige drops considerably. But it's a good bowl. It's a good place to be. Fun opponent to play. Glad Mizzou's there. I look forward to watching it. Very difficult to preview it much more than that, because it's a bowl game in the opt-out era. So opt-out / transfer portal era. So whether or not, Mizzou certainly isn't going to have their full roster. Virginia may or may not have players that decide to transfer and are going to opt out too. We haven't heard a whole lot about them, other than their starters sound like they're all going to play. So they'll certainly have an edge in that capacity. But I think Mizzou has more talent top to bottom anyway, so that probably just does nothing but evens the field, if nothing else.
For sure. But Virginia's going to be motivated. They want to finish their season strong.
For sure. They had their best season in decades. Decades and decades.
Yeah.
So they're going to want to, now they did suffer a big disappointment. They were all hyped up to win the conference for the first time ever, and make the playoff for the first time ever. And that didn't happen. But I think they're still going to be plenty motivated to put a nice cap on this one.
Get to be in Jacksonville, which I'm assuming is nicer than Columbia in December.
Certainly,
although it's
going
to be warm weather, so who knows? Winning coach gets a bucket of Gators dumped on him. Okay, that's not true, but it should be true.
Or do they get to wrestle a Gator or something? Or does the loser have to wrestle a Gator? Maybe.
Don't bring that up. Eli Drink was like you to move on from that question. I don't know who asked that. Kudos to that person though. That's the whimsy we need to bring into bowl season. Ask about Gator wrestling, man. Come on. Yeah. So yeah, it'll be good. We're gonna talk about it now. Missouri's got a new offense coordinator. If you follow me on social media, you know I've been a big old grump about who they ended up hiring. His name is Chip Lindsey. It's a grown man who goes by the name Chip. That's not a disparaging comment. It's just odd. It's like seeing a 50-year-old named Timmy. Like when are you gonna drop that, Timmy? When are you gonna go by Timothy or Tim? Yeah. Do you know who Brian Van Gorder is, Mr. Hurst?
Oh, of course.
Okay.
Anyone who knows ball knows Brian Van Gorder.
Tell me, what is your opinion of Brian Van Gorder?
Journeyman guy who can't stay at a single place because he fails and or is a really bad hang. And so he goes from place to place every year, if not every other year, and has traversed the entire spectrum of college football as a defensive coordinator and defensive position coach, and is currently coaching high school football and not doing particularly well there either, I don't think.
Yeah. So Brian Van Gorder, you nailed it. Journeyman. If you look at his resume, it's deep. It is deep. He is the guy you hire when you can't hire anybody. It's like he ended up on Brian Kelly's Notre Dame staff, and like the late year Brian Kelly Notre Dame, not the high flying one. He ended up at Bowling Green right before that staff got fired in COVID. Like Auburn, I think 2012 Auburn right before they got canned. He is kind of the Grim Reaper hire. You bring him on because no one wants to work with you, and then you inevitably get fired because he's bad at his job and you're bad at your job because he can't get anybody else. Todd Grantham has fallen into Brian Van Gorder's status as well. It's like you're you might be a scheme guy, but like your scheme is 2 or 3 iterations ago. And so you got like a reputation of being good, and you got a history of like, I was good once, but like you never really recaptured it and you haven't really gotten past it. Yeah, so that's a Brian Van Gorder hire. Someone who is like, oh, that's the death knell. You can't get somebody else to do that. I'm not saying Chip Lindsey is the Brian Van Gorder of offensive coordinators, but he's getting close.
He's on the path.
Real close.
He's on the path.
You can see the end point of him hitting BVG status. And oh my God, I hate that it is now on Missouri to alleviate him from this path. Chip Lindsey was a really good offensive coordinator like 10 years ago. And most of that was because he worked with one of the best college offensive coordinators of the modern era, Todd Monken at Southern Miss. And that was back when the no huddle hurry up was still like, that was like in his prime. He had fielded one of the most explosive offenses in college football history with Nick Mullins and Ito Smith. They were running like 10-second plays, ripping off 60, 50 burgers here left and right. Now, it took a year to get there, but like that's where he comes from. That was when he was really good. That's when he was in demand. And since then, it's just been a series of diminishing returns, including him being the only Troy Trojans football coach to not only win a conference, but not have a winning season since 1991. So we're getting that guy. And I've seen some people online say, hey, well, he was really good with Drake May. If your argument is that he's good with an NFL quarterback, that's not a good argument. Okay,
especially because they were worse with him. He was worse with him than he was the year before. Drake May took a step down his senior year, which usually it's the other way around.
Yes. And that was true with Jared Stidham too. I'm breaking down his career on RockMNation.com. You can go in there and you can see it by school. I did Southern Miss drop today. We'll have Arizona State drop, I think, tomorrow. I just wrapped up Auburn. It's the same pattern. Like, yeah, he might have a good year with like a good pop year with an NFL quarterback. It always goes down in quality afterwards. And that is who we just hired. That's who Mizzou just hired. He is not renowned for his passing concepts. He's had one good passing offense, really, maybe two. He is not an explosive type of coordinator. That's not the way he calls plays. Everybody complains that it's predictable. He's got a good running game. Oh, okay. Eli Drinkwitz can fart out a good running game with no effort. He needs help doing other things. And you had this moment to make a splash hire with some outside ideas, and you hired yourself, Eli. You hired yourself. And it can work. I hope it does. I hope it does work. I'm going to give him a chance to work. History and scheme tells me that you just did the same thing again, and that concerns me.
Yeah, it reeks of all of his hires, which for the most part, Eli Drinkwitz's hires have been good. But he can only hire someone if he has worked with them in the past, or knows somebody who has worked with this guy in the past. So Kirby Moore being the most distant of his hires, but even then he had a Boise State connection with Kirby Moore. So he only hires guys that he has some sort of a connection with. He worked with Lindsey at Auburn. They had the Gus Malzahn connection there. And it's stale. It's exactly what the offense was, but that we complained about: stale and boring and not innovative and not interesting. And that's what this is. So underwhelming would be the word I would use to describe the hire. And yeah, could it work? Maybe. I keep picturing the Tobias Funke. It hasn't worked for anyone else, but maybe it'll work for us. It hasn't worked so far. It's been, he's never had a disastrous offensive. He's never been the head of a disaster of an offense. I'll give him that. But he's also never been the head of an elite offense. He's always right, very mediocre, right in the 30s-ish, 40s-ish. Guess what? That's right where Mizzou offense was last year. We've been complaining about. So it's really hard to envision him bringing in new ideas that are going to elevate elevate where the offense was last year to where it is, where hopefully will be next year. Just hard to imagine that. Could it happen? Yes. But it really hasn't happened for him yet. So it would be the first time.
It's not a bad idea to be like, hey, offensively, we're going to keep it simple. We're going to minimize screw ups. We're going to do low variance offense just to make sure that our defense is in a position to win the game and our offense can function efficiently, create a couple scoring opportunities. Boom, we're done. It works. Ask Michigan. They won a national title that way. He wants so badly to be the Michigan of the SEC that he hired the Michigan offensive coordinator. But not the good one, because good one's nuts. Lost his damn mind and was the head coach of Michigan. He's in jail now. So you didn't hire the right one. Not that you would want that one. And you're not bringing a Harbaugh in. So David Shaw he's past his prime. So this is you had this opportunity. You had a lot of money to make something a little bit different, and he didn't do that because he wants to minimize mistakes, keep it simple, and let the defense win. So if you want to win like Michigan, you got to recruit like Michigan. You got to execute like Michigan. We're not there yet. Famously, it took Jim Harbaugh, 8 years to win a national title in Michigan? Okay, maybe it just takes some time, but I'm so underwhelmed, Hurst. It hurts.
The problem with that strategy, it has been discussed ad nauseum on this podcast over the years, is that the margin for error is so minuscule with that strategy, especially in the SEC. So where you are going against the other defenses that are just as good as yours, if not better. So you can have a great defense and say, we're going to go in and we're going to win. We're going to play good defense and we're going to protect the ball. We're going to run the ball. We're going to control the clock. We're going to win the game. That's great against bad teams. When you go against teams that are as good or better than you, who have better talent than you because they can afford it, it's not going to work. It didn't work this year. They did a pretty decent job for the most part of protecting the ball this year. They were very safe with the ball. They played very good defense. They went 8-4. So this is an 8-4 hire because he's kind of an 8-4 coach.
Sometimes it gets up to 10. Sometimes.
When he's coaching a team significantly more talented than its peers.
Mm-hmm. Which I guess you could argue that's what Gary Pingle did too. All right. I'm not mad. Like if he believes that this is the only way to win, fine. It's fine. We pay you $11 million for you to tell us how we're going to win. So I'm cool with it. But when you sit there and say the passing game was a failure and that you didn't create big plays, you didn't create enough chunk plays, and then you go out and hire a guy who's not completely creative in the passing department and who does not generate big plays, then I don't believe you. I don't.
He identified the problem correctly.
Yes.
He's watching the same games that we are watching, but then, and he said it needs to be fixed, but then his solution for fixing it doesn't seem to jive with what the problem was in the first place.
It's all right. There's nothing we can do about it. Obviously, I want to be the rawest boy in the world about this. On social media, people are like, I'm bookmarking this, or I'm going to rub this in your face when you're wrong. I'm like, yes, God, yes. Yeah, I want you to tar and feather me and parade me down Stadium Boulevard because I was the dumbest idiot in the world. I would love that because that means that Chip Lindsey is coaching one of the best offenses in the country, and Missouri's winning 10, 11 games and sending offensive players into the end. Go, yeah, I want to be wrong. I want to be so wrong. But history tells me that I'm right. And I hate that.
Being right is a burden, isn't it?
It's heavy lies the crowd of rightness. Yeah, we'll see. He's not going to be calling plays in the bowl game.
No.
There's just no way.
I'm sure Drinkwitz will call the plays.
Yeah.
Or
Peeler.
I don't want to give anything away to the Virginia folks if there happen to be any Virginia fans or coaching staff or players listening to this. Hopefully that means we might see a flea flicker or two, because that's all that Eli Drinkwitz calls. Let's bring it back.
Return of the flea flicker.
Bring it back.
Won a game, baby. God, I missed those years.
Maybe
Flea flicker on the first drive and then spam outside zone.
And then bring it back again like into the third quarter.
Yeah.
Because they wouldn't run it twice, would they?
No way. It was so bad the first time. They wouldn't dare do it again. Oh, no. It was bad again. Oh.
Hey, we know Matt Zollers can throw the ball really far, so that's really all you have to do in a flea flicker.
That is the correct answer. He can throw it very far.
So, the worst case scenario, he just throws it too far.
Who's going to catch it? Well, I guess Kevin Coleman's still
there. Kevin Coleman's still playing.
Still there.
Someone we didn't talk about who has not played at all, but I feel like will see the field. Xavier Lloyd. Yeah. And don't really know a whole. Haven't seen him enough to see what his skill set is, but hey, maybe it's a Xavier Lloyd breakout game in his final collegiate game.
Yeah, he had one catch for a first down against Louisiana. I want to say
that sounds right. It was early in the year.
Yeah, one catch for 15 yards, 3 targets on the year. He's played in 12 games. A
lot of special teams.
Yeah, this is your time, X. You can do it. Yeah. Anything else? Did we cover everything? I think we covered it.
Well, the only other transfer that has come out since we last recorded is Henry Fanuku, freshman. Freshman lineman. Disappointing because I thought he has some potential as a interior lineman. Hard to say why he chose to leave. Maybe
he was going to be the incumbent center once Connor Tollison left. Like, what the heck, man?
Yeah. I mean, he didn't see the field this year, so they probably didn't want to give him a ton of money coming back next year, and maybe he felt like he was going to get more. That's a bummer because he was always going to be a developmental guy. He wasn't never going to play this year. Probably wasn't going to play next year. But redshirt a year, spend a year as a backup, and then all of a sudden you got 3 years of eligibility in the SEC as a lineman. But what do I know? We'll see where he ends up. Best of luck to you, Henry. Wish you were still a Tiger.
Same. Just another lineman we got to pull out of the portal. That's all.
I guess. I mean, you look at the number of linemen they brought in. It's just. I think they know this is going to be a merry-go-round. So you bring in 7 or 8 offensive linemen as high schoolers, and you're going to lose 5 of them. And at some point in the first couple of years, and then you always bring in a couple in the portal every year. That's kind of how it's going to be, at least in the foreseeable future.
Yeah. Jack Lang, don't leave us. Jack Lang, I want to see you play next year.
Please stay.
Please. But yeah, that's going to be the show for today. We will do a post-game show at some point. Maybe Saturday, maybe Sunday, TBD. We'll figure it out. But we will come to you with our final post-game BTBS. We'll do everything as normal since it is a Saturday, so you can expect the usual posting regimen from Rock M Nation. Even over the holiday, we'll get you some stuff out there so you can read it on your days off. Go open presents with family, but also if you want to read rockmnation.com, you can do that too. But yeah, that's the show for today. As always, we appreciate the downloads and the subscriptions. You can leave a comment or rate us. We love all types of feedback from you all. You can follow us on Twitter at Matt and H.E. Edwards. He's at Burst to Hurst. And of course, you can follow the Rock M flagship at Rock M Nation and our podcasting outlet at Rock M Radio. We appreciate you tuning in this time. We'll try to do better next time. And until then, M-I-Z.
Z-O-U.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning into Rock M Radio, a proud partner of Fans First Sports Network. Rock M Radio is the official podcast network of Rock M Plus, a new and exciting subscription service provided by me and the other voices of Rock M Radio. Please take a few moments to head over to rockm.plus and sign up for an account today. The cost is only $5 a month, and benefits include access to our live podcast, a subscriber-only message board, weekly newsletters, and more. If you enjoyed this episode of Rock M Radio and would like to see more just like it beamed directly into your personal device, make sure to click the subscribe button below and tell your friends. Our podcast feed is available through the Apple Podcast app for iPhone, Google Podcast app for Android, whatever app you listen to your podcast. You can also find Rock M Radio on Spotify. If you're looking for a podcast about your favorite team that is not Missouri Tigers, Fan First Sports Network is your answer. A full podcast network loaded with the team-specific podcasts covering Major League Baseball, the NFL, NHL, NBA, MLS, and more. And we'll be back with more episodes of Rock M Radio coming to you soon.